A people is missing. I arrived early on Saturday morning. I had traveled through the night in an exhausting succession of modes of transport, and that, at least, hadn't changed much since the last time I had come to what was then called Auroville, 100 years earlier. A few residents were already bustling about between the various buildings that had sprung up like mushrooms since Bengaluru, metropole, had extended its sprawling reach to this area like a gigantic wave erasing a sand castle. Everything looked the same everywhere now. A maze of department stores, malls, supermalls. But I kind of remembered that it was here that the adventure had all begun. There must still be some traces of that past, I thought. That was why I had come all this way. But everything seemed long forgotten, covered up. Around me, the rapid trams began their hellish sweep, and the streets in the early morning were already full of haggard faces, no doubt like mine, wandering around without any clear purpose. After a good half hour of searching, I finally found it, exactly where my internal compass had told me. Like strange fruits hanging loosely on a metal branch, a few worn-out gold discs still vaguely glistened in the surrounding fog, as the rays of one of the artificial suns reached them. That was it. I recognized the old design of what once had been the sign of the future. As the crowd gathered slowly around me, no one seemed to know where they were heading or why. I noticed then a young girl staring, like me, at the remains of the Golden Dome, and seemed to be reflecting sadly on how things had turned badly like this. Her face was not completely unfamiliar to me, but too many years had passed since my last visit here for us to have crossed paths. That's when I finally noticed it in the distance. Among the many billboards and flashing street names, it stood out like a little forgotten handkerchief of the past, dwarfed by the pulsating neon lights of the store signs. The resemblance was striking. She smiled deeply at me. I smiled back at her, almost despite myself. The once well-known portrait on the wall, lost in the crowd of brands, was hers. Itself seemed to smile at me despite its immobility. No one around seemed to pay attention, but she was there. Hundreds of people had now gathered in the streets and in front of me, and I had to get on my toes still to try to catch a glimpse of that smile lighting up the street. Mira, I heard myself whisper. Then I understood. All these people were here for the same reason as me. So, consciousness had finally survived. It had diffracted all over the world. There were thousands of us, maybe millions. Each little Auroville had sent a representative yearning to come together. It was then that the young woman, in a final brief flash of light, caught my eye above the mass of the assembled crowd. And everyone, in the same experience of unity, suddenly became fully aware of who we are. Aurovillian people.